Hello and welcome to this video where we'll be discussing the 50-30-20 budgeting rule. The 50-30-20 budgeting rule is a simple yet effective framework that helps you manage your finances by allocating your income into three categories: essential expenses, discretionary expenses, and savings. This budgeting method has gained popularity in recent years due to its simplicity and flexibility, making it easy for anyone to implement regardless of their financial situation. In this video, we'll dive deeper into what the 50-30-20 budgeting rule is, how it works, and the benefits it offers to help you take control of your finances. So, let's get started. So, what is the 50-30-20 budgeting rule? It's a simple yet powerful budgeting framework that helps you allocate your income into three categories: essential expenses, discretionary expenses, and savings. Let's break it down. The first category is essential expenses, which make up 50% of your income. Essential expenses are the necessary expenses that make up 50% of your income in the 50-30-20 budgeting rule. These are the expenses that you need to pay to maintain your basic standard of living. They are the expenses that you can't avoid, and they are usually the same every month. The essential expenses category includes items such as rent or mortgage payments, utilities, groceries, transportation costs, and other necessary expenses. These expenses are typically fixed costs that you have to pay on a regular basis to keep your household running smoothly. For example, your rent or mortgage payment is likely your largest essential expense. This is the amount you need to pay each month to keep a roof over your head. Similarly, your utility bills, such as electricity, gas, and water, are necessary expenses that you need to pay to keep your home running. Groceries are also an essential expense that makes up a significant portion of your budget. These are the costs associated with buying food to feed yourself and your family. Transportation costs are also a necessary expense, including things like car payments, gas, and maintenance costs. In summary, essential expenses are the necessary expenses that make up 50% of your income in the 50-30-20 budgeting rule. These are expenses that you need to pay to maintain your basic standard of living, and they are typically fixed costs that you have to pay on a regular basis. By allocating 50% of your income towards these essential expenses, you can ensure that you have a solid foundation for your financial stability. The second category is discretionary expenses, which make up 30% of your income. Discretionary expenses are the expenses that you choose to spend on non-essential items, such as dining out, entertainment, travel, and shopping. These expenses are important because they allow you to enjoy your life and have some fun, but it's also important to keep them in check to ensure that you're not overspending and jeopardizing your financial stability. To determine how much you should allocate towards discretionary expenses, take your after-tax income and multiply it by 30%. For example, if your after-tax income is $3,000 per month, you would allocate $900 towards discretionary expenses. It's important to remember that the 30% guideline is just that, a guideline. You may need to adjust this percentage depending on your individual circumstances. For example, if you're trying to pay off debt or save for a large expense, you may need to allocate less towards discretionary expenses. On the other hand, if you have low essential expenses and are in a good financial position, you may be able to allocate more towards discretionary expenses. When it comes to managing your discretionary expenses, it's important to set priorities and stick to them. Make a list of the things that are most important to you and allocate your discretionary spending accordingly. For example, if travel is a top priority for you, allocate more towards that category and cut back on other areas such as dining out or shopping. It's also important to track your spending to ensure that you're staying within your budget. Use a budgeting app or spreadsheet to track your discretionary expenses and make adjustments as needed. In conclusion, discretionary expenses are an important part of the 50-30-20 budgeting rule. By allocating 30% of your income towards these expenses, you can enjoy your life while still maintaining your financial stability. Remember to set priorities, track your spending, and make adjustments as needed to ensure that you're staying within your budget. Finally, the third category is savings, which make up 20% of your income. Saving 20% of your income can seem like a daunting task, especially when there are so many other expenses that need to be taken care of. However, it's important to remember that saving is crucial for building a strong financial foundation and achieving long-term financial goals. When we talk about saving 20% of your income, it's important to note that this doesn't necessarily mean putting 20% of your income into a savings account every month. While having a savings account is important, there are other ways to save as well. One way to save is to contribute to a retirement account, such as a 401 or IRA. These accounts allow you to save for retirement while also taking advantage of tax benefits. Many employers offer matching contributions to 401 accounts, which can help boost your savings even further. Another way to save is to create an emergency fund. An emergency fund is a pool of money set aside for unexpected expenses, such as a car repair or medical bill. Ideally, your emergency fund should have enough money to cover 3 to 6 months of living expenses. You can also save by paying down debt. By paying off high-interest debt, such as credit card balances or student loans, you're essentially saving yourself money in interest charges over time. When it comes to makeup specifically, it's important to be mindful of how much you're spending and look for ways to save. For example, you can buy makeup in bulk or take advantage of sales and promotions. You can also try using drugstore brands instead of high-end brands, which can be significantly cheaper. Overall, saving 20% of your income may require some adjustments to your spending habits, but it's well worth the effort. By prioritizing saving, you can build a strong financial foundation, achieve your long-term financial goals, and ultimately have more peace of mind knowing that you're prepared for the unexpected. Now that you understand what the 50-30-20 budgeting rule is, let's talk about how it works. To begin, start by calculating your after-tax income for the month. Once you have your income, allocate 50% of it towards essential expenses, 30% towards discretionary expenses, and 20% towards savings. Keep in mind that these percentages are guidelines, and you can adjust them to fit your individual circumstances. For example, if you have high essential expenses, such as a large mortgage payment, you may need to allocate more than 50% of your income towards that category. Alternatively, if you're debt-free and have low essential expenses, you may be able to allocate less than 50% of your income towards that category. So, why is the 50-30-20 budgeting rule an effective way to manage your money? There are a few reasons. First, it provides a simple framework for budgeting that's easy to understand and implement. By allocating your income into 3 categories, you can quickly see where your money is going and make adjustments as needed. Second, it helps you prioritize your spending and savings goals. By setting aside 20% of your income for savings, you're ensuring that you're building a solid financial foundation for your future. Finally, it encourages you to live within your means while still enjoying the things you love. By allocating 30% of your income towards discretionary expenses, you're giving yourself the freedom to spend money on the things that bring you joy without sacrificing your financial stability. In conclusion, the 50-30-20 budgeting rule is a great way to start taking control of your finances and building a solid financial foundation. By allocating your income into 3 categories, you can easily see where your money is going and make adjustments as needed. The 50% allocation towards essential expenses ensures that you're able to maintain your basic standard of living, while the 30% allocation towards discretionary expenses gives you the freedom to spend money on the things you love without sacrificing your financial stability. Additionally, the 20% allocation towards savings is crucial for building an emergency fund, contributing to retirement accounts, and pursuing other long-term savings goals. It's important to keep in mind that while the 50-30-20 budgeting rule is a great starting point, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Depending on your individual circumstances, you may need to adjust the percentages to fit your unique financial situation. For example, if you have high essential expenses, such as a large mortgage payment or medical bills, you may need to allocate more than 50% of your income towards that category. Alternatively, if you have low essential expenses and no debt, you may be able to allocate less than 50% of your income towards that category. Ultimately, the key to success with the 50-30-20 budgeting rule is to be consistent and disciplined with your spending and savings habits. Tracking your expenses, setting clear financial goals, and making intentional spending decisions can help you stay on track and achieve your financial objectives. So, whether you're just starting out on your financial journey, or you're looking to improve your current financial situation, the 50-30-20 budgeting rule is a great place to start. That's it for this video on the 50-30-20 budgeting rule. I hope you found this explanation helpful, and that it inspires you to take control of your finances. Remember, the 50-30-20 rule is just a guideline, and you can adjust it to fit your individual circumstances. The key is to find a budgeting framework that works for you and stick to it consistently over time. By doing so, you can build a strong financial foundation and achieve your long-term financial goals. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.